Seriously, we don't want a yellow card. Get behind the microphone.
Oh,
I'm totally.
Okay, you may notice that we have
Okay,
a physical aid that has been distributed. Since it's been tiring and everybody's involved and everything else, we're now going to allow you to give rapid dynamic feedback per team as others present. So, I may ask questions. Did you understand that? Red card, green card. So, no pressure.
no pressure.
It's fine.
That's what everyone's been telling me all day in the past 3 days. No pressure.
Yeah, you're like, you've been lying to me for 3 days now. What the hell? All right. And I'm good to go.
Great. Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Sarah Rollinson. I'm the EL for Team 40. I'm a third-year PhD student in the bioengineering program at Clemson University. Our team PI is Dr. Karen Berg. She's the VP of Research and Professor of Chemical Engineering at Kansas State University. She's also Professor Emerita at Clemson University and my doctoral advisor. And for our mentor, we have Richard Potter. He's the Director of the Office of Corporate Engagement at Kansas State University. And we have a second observing mentor, Dr. Tim Berg, who's a professor of electrical engineering at Kansas State University. And
Okay.
he also did the
I
I-Core.
gotta stop. I appreciate it in the future.
Okay.
It may, I mean, we know who you are and we're very impressed, but let's get into the meat of the
Okay,
matter, okay?
absolutely.
And this is not trying to be rude or to diminish anything. We have limited time, want to make sure we just get into it. So what do you do? I haven't seen you guys before. What do you do?
So our program is Hidden Research Curriculum, a hybrid instructional design that fuses research, experience, and mentoring.
Okay,
So-
red card, green card. Who understands what they do? Everybody understands?
Yeah, I'm
Mixed bag.
Hold your cards up. Hold them high.
So most people half get it. Some people are like, I don't know.
Yeah, so this is a new title slide. I got feedback from yesterday's, and so this is, I'm, trying
I
something new.
understand that, and I think at least you got this. That's better than So, but I'm raising this to a point. You have some good. I said this to the other room yesterday. I'm like, you have some cool power words going on.
Yeah.
We fuse research and mentoring together for this cool thing, but I still don't know what that thing is. It's instructional design. I'm like, what's that? So try and drill down in the future, and this is for everybody. We'll start doing this more and more, and this will, by nature, become more clear the more you dig into pain points. And so I'm not picking on you, I'm just making a point. The, diligence of what do you do, pretty cool. And that's a good when it evolves over time. So whenever you can have, somebody that's uneducated like myself go, I get it, that's cool. That's what you're going for. So what do you do?
So hybrid instructional design means we incorporate both in-person learning with online learning. So similar to flipped classroom, but within a research lab context.
What kind of research lab?
That's up to the PI. So our curriculum is a broad backbone that we believe can be used in multiple STEM disciplines.
Now I get it.
And therefore, different research labs in these many disciplines.
Okay.
Okay.
And so by combining an
I'm
introductory...
stupid, I'm still sort of like this, but that's
Still,
okay.
okay. The idea is we're combining the introductory research experience with professional mentoring to make sure we have a general holistic experience for the undergraduate student that's participating in the
Holistic
experience.
experience? This is all so cool sounding. It sounds like you're writing me a grant. But
I may have done that.
I know. So maybe even if you get here. Now, I actually want to make a point with this. So this is good. What I heard in what you said is you offer a new platform for blended learning in introductory research courses.
And yes,
Okay. Yeah,
yes.
that's fine.
We provide a curriculum.
That's great. I don't care about that. But you provide a learning platform for them to get the
So
curriculum.
when you say platform, we're not creating a software platform. So that's,
I understand.
yeah.
Okay. 11 interviews, right?
Yes, 11. So we conducted 8 yesterday, all in person, 3 the day before, and we have 2 scheduled for today.
2 today? Outstanding.
Great.
Before you fly out?
Before I fly out, yeah.
Maximize the time. That's great.
Absolutely.
What was the biggest learning?
I'm sorry?
What was your biggest aha? What was
Biggest aha so
Was there-
far this experience?
yesterday?
Yesterday.
Any shocking nugget?
I guess the interesting part was we kind of found almost saboteurs. So in general, we've been getting a general understanding of the pains and gains, and that's been similar throughout our
Right.
interviews. But there was a couple of interviews saying, "Oh, well, this has already been solved. Why are you guys looking into this?" Or the approach that you're taking is just completely wrong, and we don't think that's useful. But again, these people, so far, with the numbers we have, they're more in the minority. So it's still interesting to see that that competition or that disconnect.
Well, don't discount it quite yet as a saboteur. It's useful discovery. And
absolutely.
so why is it that they don't see that it has value? Or what is something that they are experiencing that is more of a problem than what you might be presenting? So just keep them open-minded about that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right.
I'm curious about one thing. The mentors, do they come from industry, within academe? Where are the mentors at?
So the research mentors are going to be in the institution. A lot of times they end up being the graduate student in the lab. So this is a role that's usually delegated from the PI to the research to the graduate student.
They're slaves.
Maybe. But we're realizing we don't want to automatically limit ourselves. So right now, when we say research mentor, we are including graduate students, individual PIs, and also postdocs that may be working in that lab.
Okay. Are you giving them like a rubric for mentorship or a definition, like this is what it means to mentor, these are best practices? How are you doing that?
So there are best practices out there, and there are guidelines and resources. The issue is these people, mentors don't actively reach out to these resources, and this is something we're also finding.
Were you
So
surprised by that? Were you surprised?
No, not really.
Okay.
No. And so what we're hoping to do is bridge that gap between kind of the abstract, like best practices, this is how to do things, and with a practitioner. So what our curriculum does is we actually,
The practitioner being who?
the person directly working with the student in the lab in a research setting.
So the mentor has a mentor as well?
The mentor follows this curriculum, and so the curriculum provides lessons, activities, and discussion points that they can use with their mentee. So it's a facilitated experience.
So help me, and this is just because I haven't had the chance to pick on you yet, so I acknowledge that. And I'm trying to understand. When I see professional mentoring, I think, director of research at some industry place in my mind, or head of sales engineering for semiconductor chips at AMD or something like that.
So something I realized is my text box is too small, and so it should say professional development mentoring. I apologize. Does that help clarify?
No.
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 Okay.
Did
So
everybody understand that?
so I agree. So when you think professional mentoring, you think of some certified thing, or someone with these best practices in mind.
You're saying I think about?
Or I'm sorry, I'm trying to
No, go ahead.
re-say what you just said earlier. And so professional development, career development, so something as simple as resume building or
So professional development training.
training. And in that way, it's a mentoring opportunity tied with the research
So
experience.
the mentoring is just a mechanism for professional development rather than you developing mentors per se. Is that a fair statement?
So by providing the curriculum, we believe we're better developing our research mentors.
What is the curriculum made up of? What's in the curriculum?
So the curriculum is it's for one semester, and so each week there's a module, and so the module contains reading materials, the lesson plan.
Yes,
student
and what's the
outcome.
content of that stuff?
The content, so each week has very specific topics. So for example, the first week is more of what is research, introduction to research, expectations. A lot of times with these introductory experiences, the student has no idea what research is or what the expectations are of the student and the expectations of the research mentor. So the first week, for example, is those critical foundation pieces to make sure they're on the same page.
Understood.
And then as you go through the modules, there's spiral learning, so you revisit similar concepts. So, for example, how to read research articles, the different kinds of research articles, and being able to specify those general topics to the lab that they're working in.
So first of all, I want to, everything's okay. First of all, I want to applaud you for being so quick on your feet and just
Yes.
saying, you know what, these jerks are going to just start asking me, I'll just go with it, it's fine. So well done in keeping poise. I want to applaud you for that. Great. Let's move forward. Let's see what's
Absolutely.
going on.
Great.
Yeah, like, thank God, I finally get to present something I worked on for 8 hours. Okay, good.
So here's our business model canvas.
Yep.
Yesterday, we spent a significant amount of time pairing the value propositions to the customer segments and just making sure we had everything color-coded and looking pretty.
Yep, it looks great.
Thank you. And we also tried to reword some of the value propositions to make them stronger, to make them more testable. And we also eliminated a few as well.
What did Susan say? You talked to Susan?
Yes.
All right. What'd she say? What was the biggest aha from her?
The biggest aha from her. So Susan is in GWIR, and so it's Government, University, Industry Roundtable.
Yep.
And so Roundtable is, it's actually more like 100 people in a room. She
Yeah, it's
told
not a
us.
round table, I know.
Yeah, not really a round table, but what's really why we loved her insight was she has a very broad sense of the interaction between industry, university, and government, and kind of the wants and needs and how they kind of pull and push on each other.
So did she have any suggestions about how industry could interface with this project you're working on?
Yes, and also some needs that industry has been really pushing on the university as
Such
well.
as?
So industry, they're wanting students that have a T profile, and this is something I didn't know about until I came here. So T is having the soft skills and the breadth of being a versatile student, someone that can jump into a new opportunity and go with the flow, and more of those soft skills. And then the vertical component is their technical expertise. And so one of the trends that she talked about was how industry wants to see more horizontal and possibly a little less vertical. That way, and seeing that as a way of being more prepared for the STEM workforce.
That's cool. So
Excellent.
number 2 points. One, I don't see industry per se up there on the segments, which fine. I'm just pointing it out, and it could have some impact. Secondly, I applaud you guys for finding that could be an interesting nugget. And did you know Susan before?
I did not know.
Did you guys know her? All right, cool, fine. All right. Anyway, keep going. Good.
So this is our VP Canvas. This is the same one that we used yesterday. The important point from this is we have a lot of customer segments.
Yep.
But at
I
the
want
end
to point
of
out real quick, you've done a fabulous job at segmenting out the types of segments, end user, buyer, all those things. And I know it gets cluttered, I get it. And you're like,
Scroll, yeah.
But I do like that you're taking the step of getting those things, it is an end user. I think you can get more specific still on undergraduate student in X institution that is this profile and whatever. But I do applaud you for that.
And I think we'll work that way.
Yeah, it's going to happen over time for everybody, but let's keep rolling forward.
And so at the end of the day,
I want to see your market.
You want to see the
Go for it.
market?
We got a minute
Keep going? Okay. Customer discovery, we covered a little bit of that,
Yeah.
some of the key points. So here is, again, the blown up version of the VP and CS and also the market size. And so this is something we've been having issues with, and we actually had...
You guys are good. I'm blind. Don't worry about me.
Okay. So kind of the big universe for us, what we're considering is 4-year institutions awarding bachelor's degrees in STEM. And so narrowing this down is, as I mentioned earlier, this is an introductory research experience.
Okay.
Or curriculum to facilitate that. And so we want to...
Universities that have student retention problems is where you're going to target initially. Is that what you're getting to right here?
I think that would be a good direction to go in.
I'm not arguing with
Yeah.
that. I'm just saying, is that where you're leading with this slide?
Yeah, because that clearly is one of the biggest pains for the individual
No
student and
argument
also
at
for the
all. I think
university.
that's a good start and good hypothesis. I'm curious to see where you land, for sure. Is there any other slides you want to show?
Yes. So this is all the peer feedback that we've gotten so far. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Guys, that's awesome. Thanks everybody for doing
Yeah,
that.
thank you. This is great. If I had more time, I would actually go through each one.
Go ahead.
But a lot of these things we actually took into account. We've made those changes. So again, we really appreciate that.
We have 15 seconds because I blabbed too much. It's my fault. What are you going to do after you leave? You're talking to 2 more people
Yes,
today,
today.
and then what are you going to do next week?
I'm going to do next week. I'd like to canvas my university better since that's easy to do, and then do a lot of traveling.
Do a lot of traveling?
A lot of traveling,
Where are you
talking
going
to
to
a
travel
lot
to
of people.
first?
Probably the Research Triangle. That's pretty close to Clemson. There's a lot of
Yep.
key players there. A lot of great
There
insight.
you go.
Thank you.
All right, cool. Great job.
Okay.
Great job.
Okay.
I have to say, I am uniformly impressed by the ELs putting up with my badgering. That is excellent work.
This is Team 41.
Is this in the right direction today?
Was it in the wrong direction? Yeah, always the heavy one time.
41.
Okay, we good?
Hi, everyone. I think we all feel like the little engine that could and would and did. This is
Good job.
Project SCORE. SCORE stands for SUNY, State University of New York, Community College Replication Project. What the innovation is a summer research program. It is constituted by extensive advising, a research experience with a faculty mentor, and the whole idea of bridging into another college experience
So you did
in STEM.
You did 17 interviews already?
Yes, we
And then what'd you do yesterday?
We did 5 Skype interviews yesterday and 4 phone interviews yesterday.
Outstanding. Well, good job. Great.
We hurried up.
Yeah. So I'm going to point out a nitpicky thing because I just can't help myself. So SCORE, is that the name of your initiative?
Yes.
You may have a trademark issue with that.
Yes.
Oh.
Does anybody know what SCORE stands for? Another Service Corps of Retired Executives with
Yes.
this SBA? You may want to just double check on that, on the
Okay.
ability to use that. This is not related to anything else, just pointing it out.
So I am going to ask you to raise your red or green card to see if
She's preempting what I've.
you understand what our project entails.
Eh.
Okay,
bit,
thank you.
I know you're a summer research program, and you do stuff for community college people, and you have mentors. I don't know how you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a residential program in the summers. We're trying to scale this up at, we have regional hubs at 30 colleges of the 64 in New York State. We're trying to scale this up to use it at all 64
Who
colleges.
pays for it now?
It has been funded in the past by NIH and NSF grants, private donations.
Is it an RU or something? No, okay. Sorry, I'm just curious.
And we don't see it as financially sustainable in the form that it is. So part of the value proposition is to kind of make the colleges understand, and the industrial and key partners, that this is there's a value proposition for each of them in in creating opportunities for students in
Well,
this
you don't
way.
want to make anyone
sorry?
understand, so just be careful. You said, we want to make them understand.
We want to help them to
Well, so what did they, I assume you talked to community college folks, right?
Yes.
So are you going to tell us about what you learned? Is that sort of your next transition?
We are gonna go. So you have met previously Dr. Scrivenek and Dr. Russell as the PI and the mentor, and Dr. Scrivenek has been scaling this up on a small basis for 15 years. Okay.
As you're transitioning, last question, or do students pay for this at all right now themselves, or are all funded by grant activities? Okay, got it.
Okay.
Yes, the right arrow on the clicker.
Battery may have died.
Just hit the down.
Well, okay,
As part of our business model canvas update, we substantially revised our value propositions to make them a little bit shorter and clearer. The main value proposition that we are selling, the pain point, is that retention and graduation rates will increase. We also, in the canvas update this time, really tried to connect the proposition to the customer segment a little better. And
So I'm
that
going to
was
take a quick
very
poll of the
helpful.
room, and I think you know where I'm going with this already. Does anybody in the room know what I'm likely to say about retention? No. Well, I do care. How do you quantify it, but also, why do colleges care? And there is a money thing, and I know you're trying to, and this is could be solid gold for you
It's a pain
guys.
point for them, because if they don't retain these students, they got to go find new ones.
That's right.
And enrollment is declining in New York, so keeping the students and helping them to succeed is very important.
Are there certain disciplines that are larger cash cows for a school than others?
I didn't catch the very beginning.
The different disciplines, different departments within a
STEM?
two-year college. Where are the cash cows? Where are those tuition dollars coming from for a school, mostly?
I don't know specifically in STEM because I don't work in the disciplines, but I would say that they are different. Like in engineering, potentially there may be more opportunities and scholarships and things like that, and also funders.
Is that something
I don't
that
have
at the-
data on that.
Is it possible that you could find out and that would be something to quantify at the two-year level?
I'm sure we can find out, and it would help us to identify more partnerships.
Sure.
So this is, on the left is our value propositions, on the right is our customer segments. You can kind of knock out the middle. We worked a little harder on this, using the one value proposition that we felt was very important. It is still to increase retention and graduation rates at both the 2-year and the 4-year colleges, because in a sense, this is a bridging program to increase persistence to completion.
I have to say, I love this part a lot. I like the graduation rate increase by 5% by 2020.
Yes.
That is a very specific, testable value proposition tied to some pains that I know are there, so I like that a lot. I would like to see that in your canvas itself.
Okay.
I want to put that out. Now, I have a follow-up question to this. Where did you get that number? Is that legislature, or is that?
No, we have been looking at this actively over the last year in trying to scale up our program. We know our current enrollment across the campuses where the program is currently active, and we know we have gotten buy-in from those campuses that they're going to try and increase. So we took by a certain number, and we took that and created a percentage out of it.
So you guys have sort of, in your existing program, set sort of a bar that you want to hit for sustainability of
A reasonable
bodies?
bar. And what you should know is that at SUNY, the bar is very high because they keep raising our performance goals in terms of student enrollment and graduation. So we're just trying to keep
So
pace
this
here.
is a Board of Regents thing, like, you need to do this thing.
It's a chancellor-driven effort.
Okay.
The main products that we have discussed in former sessions are that the summer research experience is critical. The evidence that we've gained through our interviews supports that. our mentoring, academic preparation, and advising are also very critical to this process. The pain relievers that we mentioned a moment ago are to improve those low graduation rates, and this really has a lot to do. The institution is really, community colleges don't gain much stature when they lose all their STEM students. So we feel that there's a social value to them participating in this enterprise.
What are the STEM students at community colleges? Are they all younger students, or there's a different segment of that that's more likely to be successful in this?
In the program thus far, Joe has told me that many times they are traditional students coming in, but the non-traditional student is now becoming, in New York State, the more dominant student at community college. And we are contending with their skills under preparation, in math particularly.
Interesting. Okay.
Is there some way that you are sizing up or defining STEM at the community college level differently than other segments?
No,
Okay.
I don't think so. Okay, so in our customer interviews and our customer discovery, we talked to all kinds of different people yesterday. And throughout this whole thing, we talked to organizations, funders, students, faculty, administrators, nonprofits, chief diversity officer, and government agencies. So again, getting a lot of buy-in from each of these kind of groups.
Buy-in on what?
On the whole idea that mentoring, summer research experience, and advising are critical to STEM student success.
Would anybody argue with that, though?
No, we did not find arguments.
Oh, I'm sure you didn't. I'm saying, would anybody say that summer programs for students, and this is about the falsifiable hypothesis, right? I mean, would anybody say we should not provide mentoring for summer community college students? They would go to jail.
Well, we did not find that of the people that we discussed this with, it was kind of on an elevated level. They weren't really, we weren't really relieving their pain. We were trying to see if the research that they had supported the direction we were taking.
You weren't addressing their pain. What was their pain?
Their pain was, are they doing the right thing? Are they helping to get students through college programs in science, technology, engineering, and math in a way that produces a skilled employee or a skilled career progression, trajectory for the future?
So they're not, that's interesting. I'm going to dive into that a little bit more. It sounds like what I heard was their pain is they're not sure they're doing the right thing. And they're looking for a lead or a model that they can adopt that with some assurance to alleviate that pain. Is that correct, or am I off?
Yes,
kilter?
for the institutions that would be adopting the scalable score program, yes, that is absolutely, I think, a very good description of how we would relieve their pain.
How are you relieving that? Do you have something?
No, go ahead. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
do you have are you relieving that pain because of your experience in the presence of the program? Or is it because SUNY's involved?
No,
Or
it's because the institution itself would profit. It's a financial bottom line for the institution.
how are they getting paid? Oh, you're saying that in keeping the retention and everything else. That's
Their
the
retention.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
In endeavoring to scale this, one practical thing to ask is, do we have numbers to show our success? Can we show those through infographics? Would that not help you scale this with other institutions to show your success?
We actually do have data
Great.
supporting the 15 years of work that has gone into this program thus far. And we also have national data that we can
Right.
tap into.
Great.
Let me go a little bit more into this. So, to validate the proposal, is it valuable? Is it going to help? We spoke to a former graduate of the replication project who told us that the best thing about it was there was a person in her experience who helped her not only to go through this program, but was there for her throughout the rest of her college experience as a point person, and it helped her to graduate from college, the next transition to the next college more successfully. And so that was
I'm so sorry, in the interest of time, could we get to the addressable markets? I have a question that you may get to answering very quickly, but I want to ask it otherwise. And I've seen these online. These are great starts.
Okay, so this is our TAM, our
Yep.
total market size. We've incorporated all the students in SUNY, 500,000
Yep.
students.
So I guess this is what I wanted to get to, right? This is my question. Is there any intent to scale beyond SUNY?
We were asked this yesterday, and there is potentially some way to scale this beyond SUNY.
Is there any interest in doing so?
I think we're very focused on getting it done in New York.
That's okay. That's okay. I'm just asking the question. I was just curious.
Yeah.
So we have, and this makes good sense. I mean, you have a good captive market to start with. I might even argue that your served available is the SUNY number, and the rest outside of that is higher.
Yes.
But that's a separate.
That could be another whole target market.
Agreed. Now, so that's time. Who are you guys going to talk to next week? More people in SUNY?
No, not necessarily. We have 2 more interviews scheduled next week, and we are really looking for funding. And that's where we're looking.
So you're going to be interviewing funding agencies as much as possible. Well, follow the money. That works. Cool. All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Okay. Our last team today is 42. I did want the room to know of a small scheduling change that we're actually ahead of time. So we're going to jump into the lecture at 11, and we'll wrap up about 15 minutes early. Okay? You can begin.
So everybody take a deep breath. Okay, all right. Thank you guys. My name is Shawn Moran. I am a grad student at North Carolina State University. This is one of our PIs, Patrick Fitzgerald. Over there is our other PI, Ben Watson, and our gracious mentor, Christian Holjes. I pronounced it correctly this time. I said Holjes last time, but he corrected me.
So 19 interviews yesterday.
Yeah.
How many
So,
in person?
First, what I'm going to just give you a quick overview. We are project recognized, and
Yep.
basically we design visual games for casual play and edutainment.
Does everybody understand that?
Again, we design visual games for casual play and edutainment.
Good.
Okay.
I got that. I don't know what it does, but it's like make games. Cool.
So real quickly, for this presentation, I'm going to start with the changes we made to our business canvas.
Answer my question first. So 19, I want to make a point here. I want to applaud you guys, first of all, for getting that number in a couple of days. That's kick-ass. Number 2, how many were in person?
Sorry?
How many of these 19 were in person?
All of them were in person.
Very good job.
Except for before we came, there were some. I don't know.
Good job. Thank you for setting a bar. All right.
So, yeah, for this presentation, I'm going to start with the changes we made to our business canvas, then go right into the customer discoveries we made, along with a more segmented look at our market.
Okay.
Following that, we'll look at our value proposition canvas, a brief customer archetype, and then finally look at our TAM, SAM, PAM.
Nice overview.
Thank you. So for our business canvas, as you can see, the boxes indicate where we made the changes. We basically fine-tuned and clarified our customer segments and added more specificity to our value propositions based on our cumulative interviews that we've done and some feedback from the teaching team yesterday. So based on peer comments, we were even more intentional about interviewing a very diverse age group of customers yesterday.
So I hate to interrupt your good flow, man. It's good. How do you quantify fun?
That's good. I was going to get to that, but do you want me to mention that now?
Yeah,
Yes,
tell me.
it's in 4 of your VPs,
Sure.
yeah.
To measure fun, the teaching team actually suggested yesterday that we actually make paper prototypes of various designs that we're thinking of, and actually test it with
The teaching team's stupid, man. We don't know anything, man. So how would you quantify fun? Are you answering my question, or are you using an example somebody else
So
gave
the way
you?
we quantify fun is just like the customer interviews. We're quantifying our hypotheses. So the way we quantify fun is, what is fun? A game is fun because people play longer. They give good feedback. They give good ratings. So what we would
So
do
is
is
fun is fun the pain point? Ultimately, fun is sort of a pain point for one user.
Yes, the pain point. So that's a gain to have fun. But the pain point would be to be bored, or stressed, or frustrated.
I get that. I'm more thinking from a venture side, right?
Yeah.
Why does a venture care? Why might a partner of yours care if it's fun? What's the pain point they're trying to solve through the funness?
Can't you just, I'm sorry, you answer. Go ahead.
The pain point of fun is that, well, that's a good question. I don't know the answer to that.
I'm boring. I don't like fun. Okay.
Okay.
I'm actually trying to drive to a point here. So this is again to like sort of. I said this earlier, and I said this in my room yesterday. These are, of course, we increase learning. Yeah. I mean, who says we don't want to increase our learning? Everybody wants to do that.
Yeah.
But the fun aspect, and I'm overly familiar with this personally, so I'm sorry you got a mixed bag with me on this one. The gamification concepts and why that's important for industry and people that are involved with that, they don't care about it being fun. Industry doesn't care about it being fun. The fun is a mechanism by which they can do what?
And getting engaged with the content.
I know.
The content has to be entertaining. How do you measure entertainment? Is that
No, but that's not the question.
okay?
Why would you even care about somebody being entertained?
Well,
Because you're just an entertainer and you like doing shows and
well, a
stuff?
game by definition is something that creates entertainment.
All right, we're going to break it back. Why? Let's talk about Let's talk about games for a minute. Monopoly.
Okay.
Was Monopoly provided simply to provide enjoyment and entertainment?
It was also social interaction.
Okay.
Was that why?
It was. I don't know the genesis of why Monopoly was created, but when
The Great Depression.
sorry.
It was created in the Great Depression.
So it's a hope builder, maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
Bull crap, dude. This guy's trying to figure out how to make money on the Great Depression.
Well, you're talking about from the perspective of the.
Yeah.
Yes,
Creator.
yes.
Okay, but
And his partners that allowed him to use the names in the streets and all that stuff, they do it because he gives them recognition. And yes, it's fun and engaging and social and all. It's a way to make money.
okay.
If it's not fun,
In
they're going to drop
some fashion,
it.
scale and money.
I was just going to say, if it's not fun, if it's not engaging, you're going to drop the game, go on to something else, not use their game, there's not the sales. You see what I'm
Right.
saying?
Okay. So the pain point is what again?
I'm not telling you. You're supposed to tell me, dude.
Well, I mean, if you can just summarize what you're saying, is it?
No, nah. Talk to me, dude. I think you guys know where I'm going, right?
Can
I know
anyone
fun
else?
is
Yeah.
important, but let's keep moving
I'll
on.
pull up the red card for you.
All right.
Okay.
Good.
No,
We can talk about it later on. Keep
Yeah,
going.
we can talk about it, yeah. So just real quickly, so based on peer comments, we were even more intentional about interviewing a diverse age group this time. And one of the things that we changed is the customer segments. So we have visually oriented casual gamers. That's our customer, one of our customer segments. And the value proposition that corresponds to that is bring visually oriented casual gaming for more fun. So the fun aspect is something we have to drill into more and answer what you've proposed. Then you have the visually oriented casual gamers who play trivia. Then a visual oriented casual gamers who enjoy group interaction.
So I'm gonna break in. I think, and so I was making a point on the fun because I'm trying to force everybody to start thinking about more. And I'm picking on you because you guys have great data and you've done good stuff. To think about this larger issue, how do we grow and scale and those things.
Right.
So I'm not arguing that the people you have listed as customer segments, which are pretty specified in a way about they need to have the fun aspect in some way. I acknowledge that. I think there are segments in here, though, or at least partners or other groups that have different cares than the fun itself.
Right. For
So-
instance, like the ones that enjoy groups, you know, they want the group interaction, so they would have a different motivation than just fun, you know. So they want that social interaction. So that would be.
Here's my challenge to you. Fun is great. Try and think about it from the lens of how can fun translate to dollars, and who cares about that, if you care.
Yeah, we do. We do care about the dollar.
So let's think about that a little bit, and then the segments might lead to. Anyway, there's other ways that could go. So I'm just going to put that challenge down. When you think about fun, think about how fun translates to dollars. So fun equals X number of dollars because of whatever stuff, you know.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
just a challenge, right? And this is actually a challenge for everybody, you know, when learning and retention and we've covered this stuff, it's just a different platform to do it, translates to dollars how, and how does that flow down? So anyway.
And we got at this a little bit in office hours where you measured fun by engagement. How did you measure engagement? By how long they actually paid attention to certain things.
Yes.
Which then will lead them to maybe buy an upgraded version or something. So there's elements
Right.
in your game that will cause them to want to stay involved. And so there are ways that you're getting at to try and measure it.
Right.
So it's just pushing on you to identify what that is.
Yeah, and
What-
so if I may just
Yeah.
interject, so one of the things that we discussed based on the teaching team's assessment, to measure fun, we want to show prototypes, but then there's features in those prototypes that will watch how they interact with it and then see how long they play. So how long they play, and in conjunction with how they rate their experience, is going to help us quantify it.
Okay.
No, agreed, no doubt. And so I'm not saying don't do the paper mock-ups or, yes, all that's great experimentation. I applaud you for even working towards that. One thing that occurs to me as I look through things a little bit, it might be that the fun aspect is not so much the pain point as it is how you build a relationship with your customers.
Okay.
Just a way to think about it. I mean, I'm not saying that's the answer. There's just maybe a different way to think about it where you're talking about the pain points might be boredom, you know, captive time,
Yeah.
time waste, or whatever the hell it is. But there's just challenge. Think about it. That's
Okay.
it.
Well, thank you. And one last thing is we haven't really explored this segment, but the last one, teachers making learning more visual and fun. And for that, the value proposition is, you know, we need to figure out a way to help teachers, you know, to get teachers tools and content that would enable them to make learning more visual and fun. And that's something we have to really drill down into further. So that's just something to demonstrate that we've actually removed the strike through, because in our previous presentations we struck through the teacher segment, but this time we want to, you know, we want to keep it open, but we haven't explored it any further.
And you haven't interviewed teachers per se?
No, we
right?
haven't. Yeah. So, any other questions? Okay.
Well, I have questions. I'm just trying to.
Okay, so jumping right into customer discovery. So we have a set of hypotheses that there's a viable market of visually oriented casual gamers. And what we did, this was our first initial interviews that we did, and we asked these set of questions. And then about 10 of our 30 interviews were visually oriented casual gamers.
How'd you test that? You just asked them?
Yeah, we just asked them.
You like visual or tactile learning or whatever?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was only face-to-face conversation.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's fine.
Same thing here, viable market of visually oriented gamers playing trivia. About 5 of our 30 interviews were visually oriented trivia gamers. And same thing here, visually oriented gamers desiring group play. About 7 of our 30 interviews were visually oriented group gamers. They actually did group games, and they would be interested in doing
What does that, I'm curious, what does that mean?
Yeah, so one lady in particular,
Bless you.
so she actually would get together with like 4 or 5 of her friends, and they would play a mobile game with each other. And somehow it was either turn-based or,
So we get together with their phones
yeah,
in a room,
yeah,
do Drunko or whatever, and have a good old time. And
yeah.
I'm beginning to see why this is 20 to 50.
Yeah.
Am I correct?
Say it
Is, well, in your hypothesis that this is, that the age range is 20 to 50, some of the comments that have been posted to you have to do with why 20 to 50.
Yeah.
As Ann said, that's such a huge range in terms of life experience.
Yeah, and
But based on this experience, this anecdote that you're presenting, that is tied to the age, that, at least the upper level of 50, why would I want to get drunk and sit in a room with a bunch of chicks on my phone,
Yeah.
Okay.
And-
I
Ann
won't.
says she would be a customer. So anyway,
Ann is under 50.
The current answer, based on interviews, and in this last set of interviews, we actually purposely tried to find people that are older as well as young. So we interviewed a 77-year-old,
Sure.
several 60-year-olds, and interestingly, they were not interested in gaming.
Yeah.
And it could be that we asked, those type of people that don't game at all. So at least from those interviews, we are seeing a confirmation that at least 20 right now, 20 to 50-year-olds are most likely to be
okay,
interested in
I'm gonna
casual
have to do
gaming.
this. What I'm hearing is go back to the customer segments. So I appreciate what you're trying to do here. What I'm hearing is most of this is not really what you're talking about. These are more like subgroups or something like that. But at the core level, are you targeting 20 to 50-year-old mobile smartphone users?
Well, that was the initial hypothesis, but as you can see, we actually modified our customer segment based on the feedback.
I understand that.
We don't want to necessarily be pigeonholed to that. So we are actually looking at any age group.
We didn't come up with 20
Yeah,
to
we
50,
didn't.
by the way. The data's telling us.
No, understood. Understood on that. I mean, and I'm not arguing with the 20 to 50
Well, in the
age.
interest of being focused too, we could go younger, we could go older, we could go all over the place, but this is the sweet spot for casual
Okay.
gaming.
We have a minute left. Who are you going to talk to next week, man?
Sorry, who are we going to talk to? We're going to try to talk to a diverse group of individuals, try to schedule some teachers as well. So that's our hope to, really look at that customer segment as well.
Okay, cool.
See how that works.
Please, among your peers, connect with Destiny. Would you hold your hand up? She has some information for you about research on gaming that should be brain training games specifically.
Awesome.
Oh, awesome.
Okay.
Cool.
Thanks,
For
Destiny.
plasticity and
Hey, by the way, so I know I jumped on you about fun. These guys have set the bar for interviewing.
Yes.
Catch them. Keep it up. Great job, guys. Awesome. All right, very good. Thanks.